You are all very warmly welcome to this seminar called Doing Business in Poland, organized by the Swedish-Polish Chamber of Commerce, together with a number of distinguished event partners. My name is Jerry Ralowski, Jurek Rawowski. I have different forms of a name for different occasions. Anyway, I'm the vice chairman of the Swedish-Polish Chamber of Commerce, and I am very honored today to be able to introduce Her Excellency, the Ambassador of the Republic of Poland to the Kingdom of Sweden, Madam Joanna Hofman. A great honor and a pleasure for us. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you, Jurek, for introduction. Dear participants, panelists, organizers, and guests, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the seminar dedicated investing and doing business in Poland. I especially warmly welcome Swedish companies and Swedish business representatives who are interested in business cooperation with Poland. I am confident that today's seminar will provide everyone interested in the Polish market with a lot of important and useful information. The panelists taking part in today's seminar are top-class experts. Ladies and gentlemen, Poland is a very interesting market with a population of almost 40 million people, with young, dynamic, and well-educated workforce. But today, I would like to draw your attention to one important factor that is very crucial for companies that want to have a presence in Poland, namely the aspect of cultural differences that manifest themselves in the approach to business, work culture, and the role of the manager in the company. In my more than 20 years of diplomatic work, most of which activity focus on economic relations, and few years in the Nordic company in Finland as an only foreigner, I noticed how underrated this factor is in business. The ability to work with an international team, the ability to negotiate with foreign partners who are culturally different, requires special knowledge, skills, and understanding of cultural differences. This unique knowledge and skills translates into business success. But I promise organizers that my introduction will be very short. So to conclude my speech, many thanks to the Swedish-Polish Chamber of Commerce, especially Jurek Ralowski, for the fantastic promotion of Polish-Swedish relations, economic relations, business relations. And I would like to also invite all of you tonight to the Embassy of Poland for a glass of wine. I think it's a very good place for networking. So to finally conclude, I wish you very interesting discussion, very interesting seminar, and very informative, and welcome in Poland. Thank you very much. Tak se mykę. Dziękuję. And now we will start. Okay, so Sebastian Magier, please, Sebastian.
Madam Ambassador, thank you so much for the welcoming words to our seminar. My name is Sebastian Magier. I'm the director of the Polish Trade Office at the Polish Investment and Trade Agency here in Stockholm. And I have this privilege today to moderate the entire event. Our event will take almost 2.5 hours, so it's a bit of a challenge for us, but I think it's useful and valuable to all of us who are gathering here at Bonierhuset today, but also those of you who are joining online. Today we are going to talk about how to do business in Poland and why it is important and why it's valuable for us to actually be on the Polish market. Madam Ambassador mentioned few statistics, few data about how Poland has grown over the last 30 years, and especially the last 20 years since we have the 20th anniversary of Poland joining the EU. So that's very important. Maybe I will not go through all the data. I just mentioned a column that was published last week at Dagens Industri. You can go and look at it, which is entitled Poland, the most important neighbor of Sweden by PM Nilsson. And in that, he mentions few indicators. For us, the economical ones are the most important. He mentions that Polish economy has surpassed the Swedish economy recently in total numbers, of course, and that has been growing for annual average, on average, 4.5% in GDP. So that is a very important subject. This seminar will be divided into two parts. In the first part, we will have 6 presentations from experts working with market entry, taxation, legal issues, marketing, and cultural differences. So we will have 15 minutes presentations for all those presenters. After that, we'll have a short break, a technical break, where we will have a panel discussion of 6 panelists that will take more or less 50 minutes. Afterwards, you're more than welcome to taste one or two pieces of cake prepared for us by Himmelska, a Polish pastry producer here in Stockholm. And of course, those of you who are invited to the embassy later are more than welcome to join us. So, as we have a very tight agenda, without further ado, I would like to invite the first speaker, and that is Mateusz Rzeszowski, who is a director at the Katowice Free Economic Zone. And he will talk about Poland as an investment destination with all the incentives, within Poland, but also focusing on Katowice region, one of the most important and most developed regions of Poland. Mateusz, floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Sebastian, for this introduction. Yes, like Sebastian said, I'll try to give a brief overview of the incentives that we offer as Poland. Of course, all the incentives that are granted by the Katowice Special Economic Zone that I represent will be granted by every other special economic zone as well. So why Poland and why Katowice Special Economic Zone? So as you can see, Poland is divided by 14 special economic zones. What does it mean actually? So starting from 2018, the whole entirety of Poland became a special economic zone. So you can basically invest in any region, in any plot you desire, be it either a greenfield or a brownfield, be it owned by the special economic zone, by the municipality, or private-owned property. You can start your investment there, and a special economic zone will definitely help you with your endeavor. So we are a special economic zone mainly responsible for developing and offering investment areas. So we try to focus on giving you the best investment plots with all the utilities, with all the HR you require. We also do issue a decision on support. So basically, we give you a tax incentive, CIT exemption to be exact, or PIT exemption if you are in a PIT taxing. We also promote the region and, of course, attracting investors. That's our main goal. If you look at the Katowice Special Economic Zone, we are responsible for 2 voivodeships in the south region of Poland, for the Katowice Silesia voivodeship and Opolskie voivodeship. The location is really top-notch because, as you can see, the 2 main motorways in Poland are interconnecting within Śląskie voivodeship. We've got the densest rail network in whole Poland. We've got big educational centers. So basically one of the best, if not the best, regions to invest if you decide to invest in Poland. Like I said about rail connections in the Katowice Śląskie region. I'll use this interchangeably. We've got, for example, Euroterminal Sławków, which is a very important point of interest for us because it connects a wide and standard gauge rails, so you can basically ship all the way to China and from China to Europe or on the west of Europe. We've got also the main regional and international Polish airport when it comes to cargo transportation. It's also the third largest airport when it comes to passenger traffic. And if you look at the population of the Silesia region compared to Poland, as you can see, and as Her Excellency Ambassador said, the population of Poland is around 40 million people, 37.7 to be exact. The population of Silesia Voivodeship is around 4.8 million, but in the center of it, in the agglomeration area, lives around 2.5 million inhabitants, and it's the most developed area, and most investors decide to start their endeavors in this area. But if you look at the biggest circle here, you can see the number 8.5 million inhabitants in a radius of 100 kilometers, so around 1/4 of the whole population of Poland lives in the proximity of our region. We've got also 13 universities. When it comes to workforce, it's really good in Śląskie region. What is also worth mentioning, because we transitioned from coal industry, we've got very hardworking people there. So if you decide to invest and you are looking for good employees, you will most definitely find skilled and hardworking people in our region. Some key information about our institution, the Katowice Special Economic Zone. We are a state-owned company, so our shareholders is State Treasury and 10 municipalities. As you can see, currently around 600 companies are operating within zone. They started nearly 1,000 investment projects right now and invested over 11 billion euro in those projects. Right now, over 100,000 people is working within those companies. Also, something we are very proud of when it comes to rankings. When you look at the FDA intelligence ranking by Financial Times, we were ranked just last year the best special economic zone in Europe. I believe it's 7th time we were ranked the first. And just last year, we were ranked 4th in the world, just after Dubai Multi-Commodity Center, so a special economic zone from United Arab Emirates and 2 economic zones from China. We are not on the podium. We were number 2 and number 3 in previous years, but I believe it's a good company to be around those special economic zones as well. When we look at the industries we are most focused on, the automotive industry makes the most part of our investors base. It's 61%, but we've got also more different developing sectors like glass, steel, construction, food, wood processing, plastics, machine, and others. Those others are, for example, BPO, SSC centers, R&D, IT. It's really developing sectors right now within the city of Katowice. We've got, when it comes to the capital of our investors, the main capital right now is German, then followed by Poland. It changed a lot when you could start the investments anywhere in Poland. The Polish capital really skyrocketed, and then South Korea because of the investment of SKE in Dąbrowa Górnicza of over 1.5 billion euro. I believe it's reaching like 2 billion euro right now within one factory in Dąbrowa Górnicza. Here you can see only some of our 600 investors. For example, Stellantis with their brands like Opel, Fiat, Alfa Romeo. Many of their electric cars are being produced right now in the Silesia region. ZF, Brembo, Bitron, but also brands like Lidl, Weber, Bulten, NGK, Soprasteria when it comes to BPO centers, Capgemini. So really broad spectrum of different kinds of investors. And the main point of focus when it comes to attracting investors, of course, apart from all the things we do, like developing the land or helping you to start your business in Poland, is of course CAT exemption or PAT exemption, as I mentioned. The base rate when it comes to CAT in Poland is 19% right now, and it's not changing. When you look at the intensity of help within Poland, you can see that Silesia region and Opolskie region that we represent has 40% of the aid intensivity. On our east part, we've got 50%, which is the highest possible because of the EU regulations. But they're not that industrialized. So depending on what type of investment you are going to start, you should definitely look at this map. Like I said, 40% is the base intensivity, but for medium company you'd have 50%. For small company you will have 60% of the aid intensivity. And how do you calculate it? Either based on investment costs or 2-year label cost. You multiply it by the percentage, and then you will have corporate income tax relief. Here you've got some calculation based for a large company for investment of 50 million euro. You multiply it by 40%, and you will have 20 million euro of the total tax incentive, which means you won't pay CAT at all. It's a tax credit until you reach this 20 million euro, or until the time period for which the decision on support is issued expires, and the decision on support can be issued either for 14 or 15 years, depending on where do you invest directly. That's all when it comes to CAT exemption. I would like only to add that I made this presentation really short, but we try to be the one-stop shop for all the investors that are trying to invest in Poland. So basically, if you've got any needs, we try to accommodate them. We try to help you with achieving your goals, be it in HR, in taxes, in any field you can imagine, environmental permits, etc., etc. We will be there for you. So please feel free to contact us, to contact me if you've got any more questions. We can speak in the break, or you can contact me by email or by phone. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mateusz, I will not let you go now, not yet. We will have some time for questions. And the modus operandi for this is today that we have one question from the audience, and other questions you can ask during the networking. But before we let you go, if there are any questions from the audience, I'll have the mic. So, There you go.
Good afternoon. Sverker Littorin is my name. I just wonder, how high is the company tax, ordinary company profit tax?
It's 19%. The CAT is 19%.
Yes, indeed, the CAT is lower than in Sweden. One more, because that was a very short question, a very concrete one. So we have one more opportunity, just one.
How long usually takes the application time? So if you want to, I think we don't. All right. So how long usually takes the application time if the company wants to establish a factory? So is it like half a year, 2 weeks?
So it's really
1 day?
really short. It's 1 month top. It can take even 2 weeks if the application form is put with all the information we need. But we try to be in constant contact with the investor. So if you need to give us any information, we'll call you or write an email. So we'll try to be not as administrative. We try to be there for the investors.
Okay, thank you so much. Before you go, you can mention that you have some investors from Sweden, right? I saw Electrolux, one of them.
Yes.
And Bulten, I think, also.
Bulten is also.
You are still waiting for more, so you are more than welcome. All those who are thinking about investing in Poland, doing business in Poland, are more welcome to contact Mateusz and consider Katowice economic zone, but also the whole of Poland. I mean, the recent large investments from Sweden came to Pomorskie region, that is a Northvolt battery factory in Gdansk, $200 million. And the other one is a huge investment in a technological hub by Volvo Cars in Kraków, where they will employ 600 engineers for this center. So that's a huge investment. And of course, there are more on the way, but we cannot say at this point more about that. So thank you very much, Mateusz, for this interesting presentation. And I will have to now switch to other presenters. And now we will talk about very important subjects, because you cannot do a business in Poland nor in other country without accountants and lawyers. And first we'll have a few words about taxation in Poland. And I'm pretty sure that Jan Prejsnar from ARPI Accounting will tell us a few words about how easy it is to tax things in Poland. Welcome.
Thank you, Sebastian. See here, this is the... Okay, a few words about me. I'm Jan. I'm a Norwegian citizen with Polish background. I was 10 years old when in 1978 my parents decided to move to Norway. So I was raised up in Norway, and for the last 20 years, I moved back to Poland 20 years ago. And the last 17 years, I'm the CEO of ARPI Accounting, which are a link between Poland and Scandinavia, as my first language still is Norwegian, so that's pretty helpful. And I also speak Polish, which helps when we're doing the business in Poland. Okay, so taxation, everyone wants to know more about that, I guess. Let's see which way this is. Okay, so first of all, if you invest in Poland, I assume you're going to be starting with opening up a company. The most common company in Poland are spółka z o.o., which is a limited company, very similar to AB, where you have shares, you can have different owners. Minimum capital is 5,000. For example, we in ARPI Accounting, we have ready-made companies that you can buy to start your business faster. But I do recommend to increase that capital when you're starting the business, because before it was 50,000, and if you want to be looked as a serious entity, should have more than 5,000. In Poland, you don't need to have an audit unless you fulfill 2 of these 3 following conditions. So you have to have more than 50 people. Your balance sheet asset has to be more than 2.5 million euro, and your turnover has to be over 5. So if you hit 2 of these 3, then you need to go into the audit of your books. Taxes was a question here and mentioned before, but when you start your business, it's 9% tax until you reach over 2 million in turnover. So that's pretty low when you look at the map in Europe. I mean, Ireland became very popular as investment because they had 10% tax. So here you're starting with 9, but the year your turnover is over 2 million euro, the next following year you will go into the old bracket, which is 19% income tax for your company. VAT standard 23, of course. Different products, food is less, but we're not going to go into details on that. Dividends, that's an important thing for you when you're making money in Poland. It's 19%. And this interest and royalties, especially the royalties, because many companies has agreements that the company has to pay royalty for the name, for the marketing, so on, and all of those costs is taxed by 20%. And the government 2 years ago introduced a new tax, which is a minimum corporate income tax. This was an idea, I think, to take taxes from huge companies that was doing a lot of cost to the mother company, so they didn't pay taxes. So they introduced this that if your result is not 1% of your turnover, you have to pay a tax. Now you will ask me, how much is that? We don't know, because it's a very complicated formula that has to be done to see what kind of tax you have to pay. And actually, this year will be the first time we're going to be trying to do this, because it was introduced 2 years ago, then the COVID came, so they stopped, and now we have to deal with this. Have no clue yet how it's going to be looking. Next year, I will explain you more about this minimum corporate tax, but many companies has a lot of costs, so they don't pay taxes. A little bit of, this is a question we always get, how much is the labor costs in Poland? So from 1st of July, it's going to be 4,300 zloty, which is, I just took it today in the hotel, it's about 11,000 Swedish korona. But if you look at the average salary in Poland, that's 7,900, which is about 21,000. And in Warsaw, which is the most expensive city, 9,600, so that's 25,000 Swedish korona. Then you have to add 20.48% as the social security that you're paying, and then you have the total cost. When it comes to the salary, when it comes to the employee, they will pay taxes, which is most people earn between 30 and 120,000. So they pay 12% tax. Over 120,000 is 32. Now we are used in Scandinavia. Tax includes everything. In Poland, when they're talking about tax, it's one thing, and then you have the ZUS, which is social security, where your pension is, sickness, and so on. So actually you have to take those two numbers, and then you have the real tax. So 35% for, let's say, the most common salaries, and 55% tax if you make more than 120,000. So it's pretty stiff, like Scandinavian standards, I would say. That's higher. Yeah, I'm from Norway, so you know. Now, a little bit about government. Poland are ranked on the bottom with Italy when it comes to taxes, so just so you know. A lot of changes, as you can see. The last 16 years, the CAT, income tax, has been changed 240 times. Of course, it's small changes, big changes. In 22, the whole system went through 3 changes during the same year. So we have this publication, Doing Business in Poland, which we were printing in the old days. We stopped. Well, first of all, it's now the green thing, so we don't print them anymore. But when we printed this, they already changed the taxes, so we stopped. Important thing to know in Poland, if a tax office has a question to you, you have 7 days to answer. So very important to have your address, a place where the mail is picked up, and someone that picks that mail up is sending it to the right person. And the management board is responsible, not the accounting lady, man question.
Italy, that everything is manual, you have to have the stamp and so forth, because in Sweden we have something called Myndighetsposten, and it works quite good. So perhaps something to pick up from Sweden?
Well, before it was stamp. The stamp, Poland is very good now in electronic. That's going really in the right direction. But it's the changes. I mean, sorry? Then yes. on some issues it could be ahead, and some behind. I mean, next year Poland is going to be introducing this XEF, which is electronic invoicing system, and we're going to go in more deeply than Italy, but that's next year. So, but as I say, in 22 was huge changes in tax office in tax law, and now we have a new government, and I'm pretty sure that they will change some of the changes that was made. So the changes will continue. Now, of course, that could be a scary thing to enter Poland, but luckily you have us. And what we have been doing for 17 years as I've been the CEO, we are basically the eyes and ears between Sweden and Poland. So our employees have always updated. So the HR department, accounting department, tax department, legal department, they all cooperate to be ahead of what's going on. Very important thing, insurance. I mean, if you go and get offers from other companies, one thing is price, but also check what kind of insurance they have if you're going to have any problems with the tax office. So we have insurance of 2.2 million for accounting, 2.2 million for tax, and 1 million for HR. And what you have to have is 10,000 euros, which is 43,000 zloty. So I will stress on that just so you know how covered you are. Now, a little bit about us for 17 years. As I say, we have been representing Scandinavian clients. This is someone that trusted us and still trusts us. I mean, the most hot company now is Sarba, which has been a client of us since they started their operation in Poland. And as you can see, most of the clients we have are Swedish, or over 50% are Scandinavian. We're doing over 2,000 salaries per month. And at least as I showed you, this publication we have now electronically. You can download this for free. And there you have all of the details about taxes, companies, and it's updated all the time. So feel free just to go on the website and download. And if you have any questions to me, I'm here the whole day, staying till tomorrow. So please contact.
Okay. Jan, thank you very much for this interesting presentation. From what you can see, tax system in Poland is, well, a bit complicated, but you can manage if you have an accountant. From my time in Poland, when I was doing some business, I know that an accountant is one of the most important persons in your company, especially if it stays up to date to all the changes that are being made. But we have some time for questions, and I think we have one. Yes, here.
Yeah, hi, Jan. You actually look Norwegian. You could fool me. I look Swedish and Polish. I would kind of say I represent scale-up companies, entrepreneurs. This sounds very big. This sounds like enterprise size. How would you recommend for a small company wanting to explore Poland? Which way to go? Because this kind of scares me.
Well, first of all, you're going to be having presentations here with companies that can help you with finding the Polish market, which we are not doing, about your products and how to get in. But when you open up, when you decide to enter the Polish market, that this is where you want to sell your goods, or you want to produce something, or you want to employ, I don't know, IT people, when you come to us, we basically taking you by hand of all of the official things you have to fulfill. And we have been doing this for 17 years, so we know how to do it. And me having a Scandinavian background, I know how we think, how we are used to easy and how difficult can be in Poland. So I'm the link between here.
So you would say it is easy for small companies also to look at Poland?
Yes, and I mean we see a lot of companies come in because it's a huge market, which is going to be mentioned. Well, was mentioned here before. It's 38 million people. They're making more and more money, as you see. The salary are not so low. Forget about Poland being cheap, as it was before, to come to Poland and have anything like produced. Well, maybe produced is cheaper in Sweden, but the labor are not so cheap anymore. So the people buying more and more. So if you have good goods, it's great market. It's right. I mean, 1 hour by plane to Gdańsk. And if you have the right partners, we'll get through that.
Okay, we still have some time, so if there are more questions from the audience, you're more than welcome to ask them. No? Yes, there's one.
Maybe not question, but remark. As we can get to IT and developing, we have preferences with tax on IT. So it is 5%, so it's quite good.
Yeah, thank you for that. And it's also worth mentioning that if you want to do business in Poland and you want to start a company, there is a lot of financing for startups in the Polish economic system. So there are many, from our experience working at the Polish Investment Agency, we are part of the Polish Development Fund, which has a number of vehicles for developing startups, especially highly technological ones. So apart from that, you can also take that into account when thinking about doing business in Poland. Jan, thank you so much for this very interesting presentation. Thank you so much. Yes, applause. Taxes are not easy to explain. So we'll continue with practicalities. And Just Law is the name of a company established by Daniel Jastrun, who is our next speaker. And he will talk about legal issues and intercultural differences, which are also very important when you try to do business in Poland. Welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Daniel Jastrun. I'm Polish legal advisor. And as Sebastian mentioned, a founder of Just Law, Polish law firm, focus on technology, M&A, and helping foreign investors doing business in Poland. We have quite strong Nordic desk. We are working quite a lot with Swedish clients. It's mainly because of my background. Very long time ago, I used to live in Stockholm for some time and go to upper secondary school here. And my ties with Sweden stayed from that time. I was for many years a partner at Swedish law firm Magnusson. Later on, head of corporate M&A team in leading Polish IT company, legal IT company, Maruta Wachta, and lately, together with my friend and also former partner of Maruta, Sławomir Kowalski, we founded Just Law, and Sławek is like profound expert in GDPR. So, talking about, I will focus on differences. Legal and cultural. I also started a clock just to do it in the Swedish way and try to keep in time and not in Polish way and talk for like half an hour instead of 15 minutes. And I will focus on differences because talking about legal system, it will be quite similar. So there are some differences and you must remember about differences, but generally both Poland and Sweden are based on continental law system, and it's part of European Union. Both countries are members of European Union. More and more rules are unified, so it is really similar. So thinking about legal system, you can expect more or less the same in all European countries, although market is different. So you must be aware that the market is different. I would say the main difference, and what's very often surprise our Swedish investors, is the level of competition. It is a huge market and very competitive, with a lot of big international investors, which are not necessarily present in Sweden because of smaller market size, and a lot of very active Polish companies. So be prepared. So first lessons is like to be prepared if you're thinking about going abroad. When I was preparing to this meeting, I found a slide which I used like 15 years ago, making a similar speech about investing in Poland. And yes, answer is definitely not. It's not a white list, and there are no reasons to be afraid of investing or going to Poland. It's very lately it's very safe country, and I'm surprised to say it's quite well organized, meaning more and more things are working as they should. Whether it's land of law, during last 8 years, unfortunately, we could ask this kind of question. After last elections, we have feeling that all the democratic procedures are rebuilt. But it's also very important to say that although all these questions about rule of law, which we had during last years, and bad things which happened on the level of Supreme Court, for instance, it does not really influence business life. So it was not like that it anyway could influence the business life. So it was a business as usual, despite of difficult, let's say, difficult political situation, which has recently changed. But there are always different fears and anticipated issues when talking about entering a new market. It's like corruption, bureaucracy, language and cultural barriers. Talking about corruption, as I mentioned, few years ago, we were very much yellow. Here, now we are more orange in the latest reports, but I think in next years we will be again yellow because it's mainly due to like high-level political issues, less because of everyday business. Whereas corruption is not an issue in Poland, or let's say not the bigger issue than in any other European country. Probably it's much better in Poland compared to the south of Europe, even old Europe. Bureaucracy. I think every European country has similar problems. It is improved very much. So I was lately very much like shocked and surprised how nice ladies at tax office were and how supportive they were. It was not possible like 20 or 15 years ago. But still, talking about bureaucracy, talking about any contacts with offices, there is one issue you must remember. Everything is in Polish and only in Polish. So if you go on the street of Warsaw, everybody will speak English, or almost everybody will speak English, no problem to communicate in English, no problem to live and use English on daily basis. But not if you go to authorities. So you need to have local people, Polish speakers, to help you with this administrative issues, as Jan mentioned. Sometimes there's like short time. Letter you will get will be in Polish, and you must react in Polish. So it's very important to have local support here. Access to the information, it has very much improved lately. So more and more things are online. I would say lately it's modern, but again, it's in Polish only. So you can very easily, I don't know, let's say register the company in online system, but again, Polish language. What is still an issue is lengthy court and administrative proceedings. So if you want to enforce a payment, etc., yeah, you will wait like 2-3 years. It's also important to remember. Yeah, it's like kind of like how you can check the companies, etc., online. But again, everything will be in Polish. Talking about legal differences, as I said, most of things works very alike, but especially when we are talking about hiring people, about employment, it is a little bit different. I would say probably it's even Sweden, which is more different from the rest of Europe and Poland, but still, we don't have that trade union intensity. We don't have that many collective agreements. So unless you are a really big company, a big factory, you will not have a collective agreements. You will not have a trade unions active, which makes it your life easier, so to say. And generally, we could say that it is like easier to terminate employment agreements in Poland compared to Sweden. It's also less costly to employ people, and it was mentioned that the costs of employment are increasing. Yes, they are increasing, but still compared to Sweden and Scandinavia, the costs are much smaller, and there is much bigger flexibility regarding how to employ people and how much does it cost. In many sectors, such as IT, such as consultancy services, it's very popular to have B2B contracts. So you also need to be aware of it. It's like kind of specific in Poland that IT works a lot on B2B, meaning that people have own business activity registered, get firma, and you simply have a B2B and invoicing between them, which makes it more flexible. And especially in case of smaller companies or IT companies, it's even easier to enter the market because you don't need to have a big HR, etc. You can often make it on B2B. And so far, such a process like accepted by authorities in general. It may change in the future, but now it is how it works. And with a they use a flat 19% tax. But again, in case of IT, it can be even 5, 8, or 12%. So there is quite good, especially for IT, quite good country to work. Again, talking about employment, one very important issue, if it is labor relation, it needs to be in Polish. Like your documentation or employment agreement with the Polish citizens, it needs to be in Polish. And the same applies to any agreements with consumers. If you are dealing with direct sales, if you are contracting consumers, please remember, it needs to be in Polish as well. So it can be bilingual, but consumers must get an information in Polish, not only English. It was already mentioned that the most popular form of conducting business in Poland by foreign investors is a limited liability company. It's really easy to form a company within 1 or 2 weeks. You may have a company operating in Poland. And it is even easy to open a bank account, which is, as far as I know, is not the case in Sweden. Lately, I was opening a bank account for our company. It took me literally 1 day to have a bank account open, and it was in mBank, but any bank in Poland. And also, when you are opening a bank accounts or helping to establish a company for foreign investors, it goes really quickly. Now, maybe sometimes a little bit longer due to war and all the sanctions and etc. But it still is. It's quite easy, and to open a company is not an expensive process in Poland. It can be a bit more complicated to wind up the company, but to open it is really easy. But there is one important difference, and please remember about it. It's like a difference between Polish zarząd, management board, and Swedish styrelse. So it is not the same. It's zarząd. It's really, the idea is that zarząd is really managing company on a daily basis. So it's more like Swedish verkställande direktör, and the president of management board is always, it's like almost always, he is verkställande direktör. So I would not be that keen being Swede sitting in Sweden, not really close to local operations, to sit in the Polish management board due to liability issues, etc. So it's better to have somebody locally, but in the company you may have a supervisory board, and then it's like fine to be a member of supervisory board or just control the company through shareholders meeting. But think twice before being a member of management board, unless you are really active. And one more very important issue already mentioned is like, remember to have a good accountant. I fully agree with Jan. Good lawyers are also important, but I would say that accountants maybe are even more important. Poland is talking about differences, both cultural and legal. Poland is much more formalized than Sweden. So many agreements needs to be in certain form. For instance, if you buy a real estate, you need to go to notary public, you need to have a notarial deed. If you buy shares, it needs to be notarized as well. Very important issue. If you purchase IP rights, it also needs to be in written form. It needs to be a wet signature or qualified electronic signature. I'm talking about transfer of IP rights, not about licensing, because licensing can be in the whatever form. But in case of transfer of rights, it needs to be at least written. So always think about it. In general, I would say, talking about cultural differences, that Poland is more formal, more hierarchy. The hierarchy is more important. So for Polish people, like this Swedish style discussions at the employment place, how to do something with no quick decision, they may be sometimes difficult to understand. Some more expectation that, let's say, the boss will take decision, take liability, and go on. Also, when we think about language, yes, we have this pani form, Mrs., Mr. It's more like in Germany that language is more formal. And if a language is more formal, it translates to business relations. So generally, it is a little bit more formal in Poland. Again, a lot depends on the sector and age, etc. New generation is quite different. We work a lot with startups, and for startups, we are very much informal, so to say, when we talk with them. But if you talk with a bank, I don't know, big investors or directors of big company, you need to be much more formal. Being informal is usually well perceived, but may lead to some misunderstandings. Second Polish type characteristics, I would say it's like kind of last minute approach that okay, even myself, yeah, I was preparing for this presentation yesterday. I guess many of my Polish colleagues who are speaking here also were preparing during a weekend or Friday or yesterday, and I could assume, thinking in stereotype way, that Swedish colleagues did it like 1 or 2 weeks ago. And also, I was thinking about booking a meeting in Stockholm. I would send an email 2 weeks before, 3 weeks in advance. In Poland, I could do 1 week advance or a few days in advance, and it would be not strange and well perceived. So, but although of this lack of well preparation and last minute approach, the result may be as good. And also it translates into that in case of crisis situations, I think Polish employees may be very, very good because when there's crisis, you need to act quickly. It is something we have in blood to make it quick. ESG is very important in Sweden and in Nordics. It's not that well known in Poland yet, but it's growing. The awareness is growing, and I think that this also sometimes can be kind of competition advantage of Swedish firm, which already have it introduced and show how to deal with different policies. But don't be surprised if your Polish partner don't know what you are talking about. It does not need to mean that they don't care. They simply it's not that big awareness yet, but growing. Last but not least, the market is very competitive, what I already said, and it is also very price sensitive. So quality is of course important, but it's very price sensitive market. Although, as already was mentioned, the salaries are growing, there's more money on the market, but price is still important. So the last mention is also what I already mentioned about this formality. It translates quite often that, I don't know, in Sweden you make a phone call, you agree on something, and both parties understand it is kind of agreement. It is agreement, we agreed. In Poland, it may be okay, but we just talked by phone. It was not agreement. We have not signed anything. So it may be a typical comment. We have not signed everything, so it is not closed yet. We still negotiate. So please remember about this kind of documents, and that somebody asks you for confirmation in written or for signing something, it does not need to mean that they don't trust you. It's like cultural difference. And also, when you go to court, it's maybe worth to have something in written, because the court may say, okay, you were not diligent, you didn't confirm it in written. So please remember about that. So generally, don't be afraid, and please remember about differences. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Daniel. Yeah, we are indeed masters of deadlines in Poland, and your presentation was right on time. But we still have
just checking. Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was perfect. That was perfect. True lawyer in Poland. Yeah, we have some time for one question from the audience, if there is any. Yes, there is one.
I have a question about the transparency of the companies, Polish companies. In Sweden, if we are looking for the partner, you can go online and check the history, the annual reports 5 or 6 or whatever years ago, to see if the company is doing well and if there is have any debts or something else. How is this situation? I mean, not thinking about the language, just how is this situation in Poland if we are looking, or we have already a partner and we are thinking about doing business together and we need to do some search? Is there something what we can do by ourselves, or do we have to go by the Business Sweden in Poland? Who will do it, this search for us? How is this situation?
Sweden is a little bit unique, because you have access very high level of transparency, and maybe not talking about business, but for me, like Hita SA, and you can check when somebody is leaving, and a lot of different details, which I think in Poland would not work due to GDPR, and I don't know how it's handled in Sweden, but it works despite of GDPR rules. But of course, in the case of business, the GDPR doesn't apply, so you have a bigger access to this kind of information in Poland. Yes, you have like company register, you have ultimate beneficial owner register, which is also visible. You can check the financial reports at the court, because each company needs to report each year financial reports, but it is more or less that. You can check on the internet. Yes, you can go to Business Sweden, you can go to, and there's many credit listings bulaks, exactly as in Sweden. So you can use services of this kind of companies just as in Sweden. Again, I think in Sweden you will find online a little bit more information. But yes, but in this case, I recommend to use one of this credit listening bulak, some it's called in Sweden. I'm not sure how it is called in English.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Daniel. So we have this covered. We covered the taxation issues, the legal issues, and now it's time for another step, which is the market entry strategy and marketing. Very important part of doing business in Poland. I would like to invite Ms. Katarzyna Sarba, who is a senior consultant at B2B marketing and go-to-market strategies. Welcome.
My name is Katarzyna Sarba. I specialize in B2B marketing, or like my customers like to call it technical marketing. Because I operate in sectors perceived as challenging or difficult ones, like production, manufacturing, software, energy, construction, etc. As a head of customer service and marketing, I was responsible for launching, from a marketing point of view, of course, Scandinavian company called Jobber in Poland. And currently I support another Swedish company called Entrade. in market entry. I really like this quote because for Scandinavian companies, Poland is often not a final destination market, but rather as a gateway to another markets in the region. So in that sense, Poland serves as a litmus paper for those markets. For the purposes of this presentation, I conducted really brief survey on LinkedIn, which highlighted the most frequent challenges that company may face when entering the market. And actually, these topics were already covered, like finding contacts, which means consultants, supporters, local partners, bureaucracy, and legal issue, and finding customer and lead generation. But those challenges, I would say, they are pretty versatile all over the world. I myself, I can speak from my personal experience. I experience all of them having my business activity registered in Italy. So speaking about the taxes, about the bureaucracy, believe me, I know what you were talking about. We are very similar markets in that sense. By the way, the Italian tax system is already electronized. We have to issue invoices in the electronic system and send them to Agenzia delle Entrate within 12 days. So the same actually is in front of Poland. To delve deeper in that subject, I also interview two leaders that successfully established businesses in Poland. Asim Shaikh, who is Vice President of Geober Nordics and Poland, and Fredrik Loren, Managing Director of Entrade. When I ask them if they recall any specific challenges, problems when starting business, Asim mentioned, actually both of them mentioned finding reliable partner, Asim in marketing and Fredrik in sales. When it comes to business differences, again, it was already mentioned, and both of them also mentioned price sensitiveness of Polish customers. Fredrik also added something that surprised me as a poll, that Polish customers are quite hesitant when it comes to taking in new technologies or new products, which as I said, surprised me because I thought we are very open to technology and novelties. But not necessarily. Any tips or recommendations when comes to starting business in Poland? Again, Asim consistently mentioned sales and proper sales and marketing strategy. Whereas Fredrik, he said it would be good to get the first customer at the same time when hiring someone. But here is my comment. On the new market, your customer will not show up out of nowhere. So from marketing perspective, marketing angle, the market entry road map may look like those 4 steps I'm presenting currently. So first, solid market identification and market research, meaning who is your ideal customer profile. That means the companies that your product or service fits the best, who are the buyer personas in those companies, meaning people involved in the buying process. So ICP and the buyer personas are really like basics and foundation for any sales or marketing activities. Then you can tailor your marketing and sales strategy, and at this point you will benefit from your homework that you done in the first step. Next comes networking on establishing partnerships, finding contacts, etc. So how we did it in GeoBear? Before entering Poland, also Latinen, the owner and Asim Shaikh, had visited Poland several times, being present at local events, conferences, speaking or networking with constructing companies, civil engineers, just establishing partnerships and networking, just to probe the market before physically placing company foot on the market. From the very beginning, GeoBear presented really brave approach to marketing and understanding its importance in successful market acquisition. However, the very first approach wasn't successful. It was a big, renowned Warsaw marketing agency, and it was a failure. So the company came to the conclusion that maybe we'll start with in-house marketing, and maybe it will be more successful. And that's how my journey started with the company. And actually, today there is Tuomas Asunmaa who was recruiting me to GeoBear that time. So thanks, Tuomas, for making this journey happen. So again, how we did it practically? We defined three sectors where our customers these were B2C customers, B2B infrastructural projects, and we prioritize them, B2C and B2B, as bread and butter of the company, providing regular cash flow. Infra projects, yes, high value, but also requiring a lot of time and energy to close the deal. And of course, different marketing approach based more on relationships than on the digital activities. Then we prepared individualized value proposition and messaging for each subsector and for each buyer personas. This graph is really very simplified. Like B2C, it was very easy for us because these were homeowners. But in B2B, in reality, we had a bunch of subsectors defined and many buyer personas within. Like, for example, we have warehouses, production companies, and these sectors need different communication and has different problems and challenges than, for example, hospitals or schools or public institutions, or completely different approach than, for example, historical building restorers or conservators. So each of these subsectors and buyers personas needed to be taken care, and we needed to prepare like special campaigns for each of them. But first, we needed to educate the market. I forgot to mention at the beginning what the company was doing. That was constructing company providing geopolymer injections as a method of ground and building stabilization. And we needed to educate the market because now it's maybe 7 years ago, the solution wasn't known at all on the market. So we needed to first build a problem awareness, meaning subsiding, either building on ground or whatever. Then solution awareness, geopolymer injections, and the brand awareness, GeoBear as a provider. Okay. As soon as we completed the very first project, we also prepare local content, meaning case studies, articles, videos. We start collecting our testimonials of our customers. It's very important. Your local content or global content, it's enough for the start. But then people buy locally, so they are looking for local content. So please keep this in mind. One more thing: this. Price sensitiveness of price awareness, that was our case as well, but we managed to pivot this narration into a fast, non-disruptive, clean solution that at the end cost you less than traditional excavating methods. The bonus for Scandinavian companies is that they are well perceived by Polish customers due to its quality. Is actually a phrasal verb, Scandinavian quality or Scandinavian culture of work. So, as Asim said, people are willing to pay more money for quality products or quality services. It's just a matter of communication, not necessarily only the price. So the results of our in-house marketing. I joined GeoBear in November 2017. So this graph that comes from our Salesforce, our CRM, illustrates how the results look like. And all of these are sales qualified leads, so already leads that were moved in the sales pipeline. Results in numbers and the most successful sources of lead. The market challenges. So very conservative professional environment, especially civil engineers who were also kind of gatekeepers for the solution. They were used to traditional methods of ground improvement, and we needed to go over these gates. Also, the service itself was unknown on the local market, so especially in B2C sectors, and how we approach these challenges. As I mentioned before, by market education, lead nurturing, building brand awareness. What I call bonus, I like to compare GeoBear to Adidas case, because GeoBear became a synonymous of geopolymer injections. Lately, there are several companies who became competitors, but still, as I said, geopolymer equals geopolymer injections. In Poland, we used to call Adidas all the sports shoes, no matter whether they are sneakers or Nike, simply because Adidas was very active in terms of marketing in 90s when the market opened, and they just took over the market by very active marketing. And coming to the end of my presentation, I treated very seriously this 12 minutes UREC. You said so. This presentation is really short. Please do not rely only on digital marketing activities. LinkedIn, website, paid campaigns. These are supporting tools. Keep in mind that at the end of the day, that you are stranger on the market with foreign name. The customers still prefer to buy locally. So this is an entry barrier you need to go over. So do not underestimate trade shows, fairs, conferences, as I mentioned, as we did it in GeoBear. And actually, I think today's meeting is actually the illustration of what I'm trying to say. Try also at this trade fairs or conferences, try to be active as a speaker, panelist, because this also positions you a little bit differently as a partner, not only a participant, inactive participant. And this is it. Good luck on the Polish market. I just scratch, the surface of the case study. So if you have any question, I'm very happy to discuss later on. And one more time, thank you and good luck.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Katarzyna, for this very interesting insights on marketing and B2B strategies, how to enter the market. We have time for just one quick question from the audience. Yes, I see gentlemen back there.
Hi. What is your yearly budget for marketing campaigns?
Very straightforward question, very concrete.
That depends. In GeoBear, we started very carefully. It was like, as far as I remember, it was 10,000 Polish zlotys at the very beginning, and then we monthly. I'm speaking monthly, and then we achieved the level of 70,000 Polish zlotys. And this is just purely marketing budget, excluding my costs as a employer. And as you could see on the graph, the paid campaigns were really a great part of our lead source income. This is a very good question because many companies, they assume that they will hire, a marketer or B2B agency or freelancer, and this is it in terms of marketing. No, it's a marketer needs a tool, which is a budget actually. So thank you for this question, really.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's complicated a bit, but still successful companies are very happy on the Polish market when they do it. Thank you very much, Katarzyna, once again. And we'll go to more success stories now. And then I would like to ask Przemysław Piela, who is the founder and CEO of Hugin Consulting. He will talk about how to relocate to Poland and what are the best case studies he's been working with. Przemysław, welcome.
Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you for having me, everyone. Just a quick introduction to start with. Relocation to Poland. This is quite a specific case study because it's a member-to-member case. We are the member of the Swedish-Polish Chamber of Commerce, and we provided the service to another fellow member, and we actually joined the chamber roughly the same time, and we were put in touch together. So this project is a child of the contacts that you can establish in the chamber here. So thank you very much to everyone involved for allowing us to do that. A quick word about Hugin Consulting, or Hugin Consulting, because we are Scandinavian. We are your Scandinavian connection in Poland. That's our niche. And we boast that we actually can speak Scandinavian, the easiest of them, which is Danish, but we also cover the others. Honestly, I'm a native Pole. The language was mentioned here as an important factor. I learned to speak Danish. I have a Danish partner in the company as well. The best compliment I've ever heard in Sweden about my Danish as a Polish native was, quote, "Jävla danska." I love it. So, a few words about us. I've been working for Scandinavian companies for over 15 years. My business partner, Christian Baunbeck, he's a native Dane, on the contrary to me, but also speaks Polish. He's got a background in engineering and managed for 10 years a Danfoss company in Poland, which is quite good expertise, and he helps a lot with the technical issues. We basically want to be a one-stop shop for Nordic companies entering Poland. Today's delivery plan, what to consider when setting up in Poland, really short. I want to cut it short to allow you to ask a lot of questions, so I'll do it just briefly, and I also prepared a couple of surprises for you during the presentation. Shinnegrip case study. Do we have anyone from Shinnegrip today? I don't think so. They are quite busy right now kicking off the project in Poland. We did the project in 4 stages, which I will mention here. And the bonus for you are some tools and help for all the seminar participants and all the members of the Chamber of Commerce. So let's get cracking. What to consider before? Of course, check your budget, check the overheads and costs. Poland can be surprising. It all depends on the industry that you represent. In manufacturing, for instance, what might surprise you are the electricity prices and rent prices, which quite often are more expensive than in Scandinavia. So this can be a deal breaker for you. So make a thorough research. Poland-related costs, of course, that's the ones I mentioned. You need to consider your business-related costs. If you need to transfer technology, equipment, people involved in the mother company, that all needs to be taken into consideration. So remember, Poland, it's not only Poland and accounting and legal issues, but you also have to invest your personal time and your employees' time. So this is also a cost. There are also some one-time costs that might be unpredictable. For instance, you want to move some equipment, but then it turns out that it's regulated in Poland or it's too old, and it's actually more sensible to purchase new equipment in Poland than to transfer it from Sweden to Poland. So plan your internal transition and make a budget. Let's get cracking quickly with Shinnegrip. I'll just skip through the stages initially. Shinnegrip is a Swedish company established in the 1960s. They have headquarters based in Lidköping, and they hire approximately 60 employees in Sweden. The size of the companies were mentioned here today. Shinnegrip is the second largest company that we provide services to, but the project was one of the largest. We basically specialize in small and medium-sized companies. So we have customers that have 2 or 3 employees in the mother companies, and they're good enough for us, so we can help them. Shinnegrip makes export sales. 90% of the sales is export out of Sweden. So the first stage was creating the company, registering it, opening bank accounts, having an agreement with an accounting firm, providing legal assistance, and guiding the customer by hand on how to do business in Poland. We managed to register the company within 1 day, and we kept the low initial costs of running it until they could establish themselves. The next stage was finding real estate. Here were the prerequisites. We had to find a warehouse of this size and some other specifics, but you'll hear more about them later. When we had the location, we started recruiting people that were supposed to work there. And the project kicked off with 1 production supervisor, a person responsible for logistics, and 6 people in the warehouse. Right now, Shinnegrip is in the kickoff stage, and they will be holding open days in July for their customers. Here's the surprise. Actually, when Jerry told me that I only have 12 minutes, I got scared, so I prepared a video so I know it's gonna be exactly the time I need, and I hope it will be shorter. So.
Hej, mit navn er Przemysław Piela, og jeg er stifter og administrerende direktør hos Hugin Consulting. Grunden til, at jeg starter den her video på dansk, er for at fremhæve vores kernekompetence og markedsniche, som er hjælp til skandinaviske virksomheder, der vil lave forretning i Polen. But let's continue in English. Today I'd like to show you an expansion journey with one of our customers from Sweden, whom we've helped to establish a company in Poland. Without further ado, let's get cracking. In general, whenever a new customer interested in starting a business in Poland contacts us, we always start with a free consulting meeting where we interview the customer about their plans, ideas and doubts. Depending on the customer's readiness, we strive to help them shape their business, validate it and determine whether it's worthwhile. We always prepare a budget estimation with the overheads and one-time costs of starting a company. A budget is followed by our service offer, so all our customers are equipped with a thorough decision-making base before they even decide to establish themselves in Poland together with Hugin Consulting. And all that is free of charge. Sounds too good to be true? Here's what we did for Kinegrip, a Swedish company from Lidköping that manufactures cargo securing systems for commercial vehicles. Naturally, we started with the free consultation meeting online, where we gathered all the information and project requirements such as the expected employment structure, preferred job profiles, technical requirements for the warehouse and factory, and the extent of support needed along the way. This has resulted in a detailed budget estimate that helped Kinegrip verify their own assumptions and make the decision to enter Poland. Here's what we delivered within the first month of the project. Our company formation package always includes a fully registered Polish limited liability company, in this case under the name Kinegrip Spółka z.o., from day one, fully operative, which also marks the beginning of our basic service package that includes opening up bank accounts and providing access to accounting and invoicing system for remote management of the company in Poland, concluding a contract with a Polish tax advisor and accounting firm on behalf of the customer, providing ongoing legal support in all matters related to the customer's business activity in Poland, training the foreign management in the routines associated with running a business in Poland, especially when dealing with local authorities. Finally, we initiated the real estate search on the prerequisites set forth earlier, and eventually we managed to find the right spot within the first 2 months of the project. So let's have a look at it now. At first, after having gathered all the requirements, the plan was to set up the plant in the western part of Poland, especially between the cities of Poznań and Wrocław. Yet our customer from Kinegrip, after having seen the Polish infrastructure, decided to go for a bigger area between Bydgoszcz and Wrocław. We have found and reviewed over 45 different locations to shortlist about 5 premises that met all the requirements. Then the decision was made to set up the warehouse and factory in Koszczyn. Signing a rental contract is usually one of the most important milestones for every new project in Poland. We supported Kinegrip by negotiating preferable terms and conditions, including lower rent fees for the initial months before kickoff and freezing inflation prices adjustments after the first year. Once we had the address, we could start recruiting, and within the next couple of months we hired 1 production supervisor, 1 logistics specialist, and 6 additional people to take care of the warehouse and assembly lines, simultaneously ensuring that our customer followed all the labor market regulations. The preparations for kickoff were gaining momentum, and we dealt with new tasks and challenges as we went. Forklifts and air compressors had to be registered with the Polish Office of Technical Inspection. We provided health and safety training for all the new employees. We discussed product categories and registered the company for customs and trading outside of the EU. We helped identify manufacturing byproducts and waste in order to report it to the relevant institutions and ensure proper utilization and recycling of production waste. We helped manage the team and stood for negotiating and signing contracts with sub-suppliers and contractors. We also dealt with soft HR issues and helped streamline the internal processes within finance and administration of the Polish unit. And now let's give the voice to the CEO of Kinegrip.
Hvad er Kinegrip og hvad gør I? Kinegrip är en producent och utvecklare av lås- och lastsäkringssystem till kommersiella fordon. Vi har funnits på marknaden sedan slutet på 60-talet och alltid haft en stark närvaro på den europeiska marknaden. Hvad skal I lave i Polen? Den polska enheten kommer bli vårt lager och logistikcentra för de europeiska kunderna. Vi kommer även göra en viss montering i Polen, slutmontering.
Varför har I valt Polen?
Geografiskt så är det en bra placering utifrån våra kunder och marknaden. Det är centralt i Europa. Men även när vi tittade på olika länder inför ett beslut så såg vi också att det fanns en hög kompetens i Polen, polska medarbetare, och det fanns ett stort engagemang i verksamheten. Även samarbetet och liksom synen på svenska och nordiska bolag i Polen har hjälpt oss i detta beslut.
Hvad er jeres forventninger til den nye forretning i Polen?
Nej, men förväntningen är ju att det ska vara ett steg i Kinnelips fortsatta tillväxtresa. Att via en högre servicegrad till våra kunder, närmare marknaden, kunna växa och geografiskt expandera vår verksamhet vidare.
Kan du nævne et par fordele for jeres kunder og jer ved, at de har udvidet til Polen?
Nej, men den stora fördelen är ju närheten till marknaden, att vi kan reducera logistik, både transportvägar och kostnader för våra kunder. Kommer också få en positiv påverkan på vårt miljöavtryck vad gäller leveranser och transporter. Sen så i och med att vi har ett lager här, vi kommer att ha montering här, så kan vi också börja korta leveranstider och vara mycket mer flexibla och kunna erbjuda en högre servicegrad till våra kunder.
If you were wondering whether you could benefit from setting up a daughter company in Poland, feel free to book a free consulting meeting with me or one of my colleagues, and let's find out together if that's something for you. I hope to see you soon.
So now it's going to be time for some questions. But before we proceed to questions, the free tools and help, I mentioned the free consulting. All of you, once you get the materials, when you download the presentations, you will have a link here to our calculator when you can play on our website with the costs. It's just an estimate, so you can make a prediction, I guess, about how much your potential company might cost. And you can also book a 1-hour consulting meeting with me or Christian, so we can discuss specifically about your business. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Przemek, for this interesting presentation and the case study. A nice interview with the CEO, by the way. Very interesting. Thank you so much. Any questions from the audience? Just one question we can have because we are running out of time. No questions. Sorry. Oh, one. Yes, thank you so much.
One simple question. I assume that was like a creation of a new company in Poland. Then they moved an existing factory, logistic hub from Sweden. Did they keep any personnel in Sweden, or was it a full move of a full company?
Yes, they kept part of it in Sweden because they moved the warehouse so to cut the logistic times and costs. But a lot of the manufacturing stays in Sweden, and only the final assembly will be done in Poland.
Yeah, so that was basically expansion, not moving. That's good also. Okay, thank you so much, Przemek, for your time. And we will have one last presentation before the break, and we will continue with case studies. And we have another company which has a success in Poland, which is called Spondeo. We have a CEO and founder of the company, Tuomas Asunmaa. Please, Tuomas, floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is Tuomas Asunmaa, so I'm from Finland originally. I've been living in Poland since quite a long time, and we've been in the market since 2014. Thank you for inviting a Finnish guy here and the trust to do such a move. As a Finn, yes, as a Finn, it's always difficult to come to Huomenta. It's difficult to come to Sweden after ice hockey and Eurovision. But I'd like to give a couple of success story examples from the Finnish companies and a couple of advices what not to do, and a couple of other overviews about the market. Our company, we are doing headhunting and different kind of go-to-market consulting and sales strategies, and we had last year more or less 70 clients from Finland mostly, but also from the eight other countries. During the presentations, I didn't see too much of this traditional figure, so I took a liberty to have one slide that is combining the basic numbers in Poland. I'd like to especially highlight the fact of the salary growth. This has been massive in Poland since last 10 years or even more, and now the latest number was 11%. And this means that if you come to Polish market, you have to take this into account, that the salaries are getting up and the people are asking raises, and currently in our recruitment cases, we are often in a situation that the Polish person actually earns more than the Finnish person. So this market is really rapidly changing, and as we can see that the country is growing again and inflation is under control. However, the interest rate is still high. About a couple of success stories from Finnish perspective. One to highlight. This is actually quite a similar project that Przemek has done, but we did this almost 10 years ago. It is Stofix. It's a Finnish company that decided to establish a production in Poland without any market studies. They just sat down for coffee or dinner or beer or whatsoever and can come out to the conclusion that their raw material is coming from the Europe and they're producing that in the North Finland and they're sending it back to Europe. So doesn't make too much sense. So they made an expansion move, and of course they kept the production in Finland that time because Finland was a big market. But they decided to open a production in Poland, and the CEO came to me in November that we have to be operative in May. But we did it. So it took a couple of months to find a place in Poznan, do all the negotiations, and then they hired a country or factory manager, a Finnish guy, to come as an expat. And in May 2015, they put devices in and started to do the testing of the production, and finally they got the permission in June. And today they have more than 130 people modern production in Poznan. So it means that you can act fast if you want. And also sometimes companies, the traditional way is to put a lot of effort to the market study. But we have a couple of cases that the market study is actually done within the one phone call. But this can be either or. Other interesting stories from the Finnish factory perspective is, for example, Koskisen. They are located in a village of Toporu that literally has 300 people, and it's in Lubuskie, and the closest city is Svebodin is 20 kilometers away. So they really are local over there, but now they are expanding in the area. So they are now actually moving into a second warehouse. From IT side, there is a company called Efecte. It's a Finnish stock-listed SaaS company. Just before the AI hype started, they managed to purchase from Warsaw New Connect company called IntelliWise, and with that acquisition, they got product in Poland, they got an R&D team in Poland, they got clients from Poland, etc., etc. And why I like Efecte story is that from the day one, from the day -90, they really put a lot of effort on the people. They really involved the Polish side. And the day that the transaction was final, officially, the whole Polish team flew to Finland for kickoff, and then they had a kickoff in Lublin after pandemic, etc., etc. So this company is a really good example how to do things right in terms of when you for example acquire a Polish company. And now this year actually German company Matrix 44 made a offering, and the company got sold with 90% of premium. Another IT company that I really like, this is Agile Day from Finland. They started their business in the spring 23, so a bit more than a year ago. They got a first client from Poland, and then at the same time they were looking for Sweden. And they started really put a lot of effort in the Polish market, not really on the Finnish market, which is their home market or anything else, but they found their niche in Poland. And why I like this company, what they are doing exactly right, is that they are spending a lot of time in Poland. They want to have meetings, they have tours, they have the weeks that this week we go to Wrocław, this week we go to Gdansk, and they want to book meetings and they want to meet people and convince them. So the work, the field work they do, it's really impressive. And I really like the attitude that they have, that take all the meetings that are take all the meetings that are offered to you, even though it doesn't sound correct. But if you don't behave like an asshole, so then the people will keep telling you information about the market. They might recommend you to someone else, and you can always learn something new, which is really important in the beginning, not to rely only on a consultant's opinions and get maybe biased information, but go to meet people who are your potential partners and customers and take all the meetings you are offered. In retail, we don't have too many success stories from the Finnish perspective. Especially we are jealous about the Swedish brands here. But anyway, Valio is like a Finnish Arla. They tried many times to come to Poland. They came with the different products, with butter, with cheeses, with lactose-free, etc. It didn't really work out because the local competition, as Daniel said, is very brutal. It's very in the food segment. Is the Polish butter basically cost it's half cheaper than the Finnish butter in Poland. So so they didn't really make a success, but they found their niche with the profile products. And here the key was that there was this is a quote from the sales guy actually, that there was a really good product that had something different in the market, and there was one sick believer. So the sales guy, he was really persistent to make this thing working in the Polish market. And now for this segment, it's really Poland is really one of the key markets for Valio. Europress I really like as well. It's also in Sweden. They are making the trash compressors. So they really made the first hire fantastically well, because it took many years and they got it as a recommendation, but then they made an incentive program and a very clear sales strategy, and then they climbed to the top 3 in just a few years. So they did a lot of right things in the hiring policy. We also already spoke here about why to be a Nordic or Scandinavian is a benefit, and the trust is here. One thing that I would like to highlight is that the level of trust to the Nordics is high. We are liked, we are quite trusted, and we have a really good reputation usually. It means also that we don't have historical tensions like some countries have. Okay, if you speak to somebody who knows the war history, they might say that Sweden has done some tricks in Poland, but then they actively forget that it was actually the Finnish soldiers who were in the front line. But okay, nevertheless. Employer image is good. We always, when we hire, we highlight if the client is from Finland or Sweden or Nordics, is that this is a Finnish or Scandinavian client. As Przemek said, there is still a Nordic or Scandinavian trend in Poland. It's really worth to highlight this always, and the business culture is actually quite close. And here, finally, what could be going wrong? So communication and contracts. Finns are typically not talking a lot. They send orders via email, then they expect that if I tell 80%, people will catch the rest. No, I say to Finns that over-communicate. Be as talkative and as extroverted you can ever be. And then the second thing is the contracts, as Daniel said, and the others, that Poland is really a contract country. You have to make a bloody contract on every bloody issue you do. The longest contract is 100-something pages on a 180-meter office. By the way, the owner was a Swedish, but anyway. The second thing where some companies, they come to Poland, they think that we have a great product, it works in Finland, it has to work in Poland. It's not like that. The Big Mac thinking is something that you have to always make your homework to see that what I need to adjust if I need to adjust, or how to do the sales, what do I have to do. And you have to be local, be loud, and do things a little better, as one very liked famous ice hockey coach from Sweden has said. put a lot of effort to the first hires. This is super important as well. Kasia was one of the key hires in GeoBear. And before Kasia, there was Oscar, who is still the managing the Polish side. But before him, there was one mistake. Luckily, it was very quickly cleaned. But put a lot of effort to finding the first hire or the first business partner. And don't, as I say to my Finnish colleagues, don't take the first sauna friend you met. Put effort here. And as said, Poland is a brutal, price-sensitive market. So make the sales strategy well, do your homework, and have also a reality check in the beginning, what you can do with your resources, budget, your product, and how much you have to localize. Time is running out, but at the end, here are a couple of clients that we have. So we've got quite nice set of a Finnish, Nordic, and the other clients from the other countries, and a couple of names that you might know. I see that 15 seconds overtime.
It's Kiitos, Tuomas. Very interesting. I didn't know that you are the culprit of value in Poland. Actually, I like value, so I was very surprised to see value on the shelves of Polish shops. Well, there's congratulations for that, because it's a very difficult market for any dairy to come into the Polish market, because it's really Polish specialty. But we have we can have one question from the audience about all those successes. No? So maybe I have a comment concerning the salaries you mentioned, that they are rising. That's indeed the case. The salaries in Poland have been rising a lot. So we are not that cheap anymore. But then that makes also that the Poles have more money in their wallets, right? And they can spend it and invest. So it makes Poland even more interesting to actually expand from the Scandinavian perspective, although we have a Nordic perspective now, which is quite, I say, positive surprise for this discussion today. So thank you very much, Tuomas.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. We will have a very short technical break now, because we are going into a panel discussion for 6 experts. So stay with us, don't leave. You can grab water or something, and then we'll just continue with the panel. Thank you. Okay, so we continue with the second part of our seminar, which has so far been, I think, quite interesting and very informative. A lot of data you've gathered, a lot of information you have considered for, well, expanding to Poland or investing in this country. But we will now continue with the panel discussion, and then we will talk about some key success factors in doing so, in doing business successfully. You will have a panel of 6 participants, and I will name them and welcome them to the stage. We have chairs prepared. So we have Magdalena Adamczuk, who is head of EU Grants Department and the CEO, co-founder of the Tax and TechCraft. Sorry, welcome, Magdalena. We have Alexander Fomenko, who is a managing director for CEE region Livia Group. Welcome. Yes. We have Peter Senkus, who is an adjunct professor at the University of Warsaw and a management consultant, also in artificial intelligence. Welcome. So academia is with us, the top university in Poland. And we have Katarzyna Ud, who is a partner at Explore Markets. That was very quick. And Gerard Stańczak, founder and CEO Relout, yes. And Barbara Lipińska, last but not least, she's a Polish PR specialist in Sweden and manager at Rzeszowski Communications. Welcome to our panel. The schedule for this panel is, if we want to keep the time, we'll have a set of 1 question for each of you. There will be different questions for you. to answer. It is not a secret, we have considered those questions before, so they are really well prepared for this discussion. But of course, you are very welcome to interject each other and have comments if you want to. We don't have to be very formal and strict with those questions. But I hope all the guests will be helpful in bringing you more information about the Polish market. Sorry. Yes, I work in Sweden all the time. But before we start, I will give you a round of introduction so you can say a few words about yourself and your companies, if that's possible, okay? One by one, because we have one mic.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gerard. I'm an IT consultant and also founder of Relout, IT recruitment and IT staffing company. We help Scandinavian companies, mainly Swedish companies, to expand into Poland, to nearshore their operations. We bridge the competency gaps, help them find the right people for the right projects. We are engineering organization built by engineers, so we are very close to both our employees and also our clients, help them and advise them how to run their operations, how to run their HR in a way suitable for IT world. We operate for about 4 years now on the market, since very beginning with Swedish customers due to focus on long-lasting relations. We build the teams in a way that allows Swedish companies to keep the control and management in-house. So the business brain remains in Sweden, and we take care of all the logistics, legal, accounting, and all HR aspects to make sure it runs smoothly.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I will start with introducing my company. It's Explore Markets. Explore Markets, it's a privately owned, family-operated go-to-market consultancy. We help companies in launching and growing their business operations in Poland and the CEE market. We specialize in market research, supply chain and sourcing, distributor search and visiting programs, as well as marketing, sales, lead generation, and also M&As, mostly acquisitions in Poland. We operate throughout Europe and also through our formalized formalized partnerships and consultants that are located in different countries. And my name is Katarzyna and I'm a partner in this company. I've been involved since the beginning in 2014, but only recently I've been in a more visible role. My background is in marketing, communication, and business development. I've been running marketing departments in large consultancies in B2B for 10 years before jumping into this role. And what I do for our clients is mostly distributor search, acquisition target searches, market research, and of course marketing and business development and lead generating programs.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Thank you.
all.
Thank you, Katarzyna. Peter.
Hello, my name is Peter. I have a couple roles, and one, as mentioned before, I work for Faculty of Economics Sciences, University of Warsaw, one of the best universities in Poland. And the other role, I'm for over 20 years I'm a business consultant, generally introducing to companies new technologies, recently AI. So we are building our models based on open source one, and we are providing solutions with AI things. I brought here one of my students, Mateusz, so you can see our new generation of interpreters. Yeah, the rest you can see on my LinkedIn profile. So if you are interested, you can join me or contact me via LinkedIn. Thank you very much.
Okay, so a living example with you today. That's nice. Yes, we'll have Magdalena Adamczuk now, please.
Yes, so as they say, R&D runs this show. I represent Tax and Craft company. And Tax and Techcraft means a place where technology and R&D meets funds in IT and tax solutions. And well, we've been working with business owners looking for EU funding for more than 15 years now, and that enables us to prepare our own like a business model of communicating what R&D is and how to obtain EU grants for this. And I do hope I will explain that in really a simple manner, because what we do is to keep things simple, and we'll try to probably distribute the knowledge here.
Thank you so much. We'll ask you about EU funding and R&D for sure. Alexander, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Alexander Fomenko. I represent Livia Group. It's a Swedish company or a group of 43 companies, autonomously managed companies, which are within the same umbrella. I am a managing director for Central European region, where we concentrate mostly on Poland as leading economy of this region. Currently, we have 3 companies in Poland, over 300 people, IT sector. So very on the top of the let's say current value chain in terms of interest of investors. Maybe a little bit privately about me. I was raised and born in Ukraine. Then to study in university, I moved to Poland, where I spent more than 10 years, where I studied and worked. And then I moved to Sweden. So I have some understanding how it is to move to Poland and to move, from Poland. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Barbara Lipińska, last but not least, yes.
Yeah, my name is Barbara Lipińska. I have 15 years of experience in public relations. Now I'm living in Sweden, in Stockholm, so you can easily reach me. But I'm remotely working for Rzeszowski Communications agency, PR agency based in Warsaw. So if you need a public relation working on your image and reaching your clients and making your brand or company lovable, we can do it for you.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for the introductions. I hope that you've noticed that we have a perfect gender balance in this panel. So it's totally equally distributed. So that's also very nice. Maybe I'll start with a question concerning general investing climate in Poland, and that's a question to Alexander from Livia Group about the key factors that Swedish investors have to consider when investing or deciding to invest in Poland. And could you share some insights on that investment climate and opportunities?
Yes, first of all, as you probably everyone heard here, Poland is the fastest growing economy in the EU for the last decade or probably longer. So it is a huge opportunity because companies are still developing, and it's not like each or the whole Poland has the same rate as we saw, for example, from the special economic zones. This is the reason why they have different promotions on taxes, let's say, because there's a different economic situation is in different regions. In terms of my personal sector, we're looking at IT sector. Poland is ranked, I believe, as top 3 country in the world in terms of the talent of IT specialists. And it's sometimes Swedish people compare it as offshoring, nearshoring to India, like India. Poland is India in Europe, but it's very much not so true. The salaries are similar and currently, and the talent or the knowledge and competence of talent is very much high level. And the difference between Poland and older economies is that in Poland there was war, then there was Soviet Union. So it's basically the first generation of wealth building. And then people are hungry for achievements, which may be different in some economies where people already have everything. So then if you are looking for skilled people to drive your company forward, Polish people will be very eager to do it.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. It's worth mentioning that in 1990, Polish GDP per capita (PPP) was $10,000. Now it's $36,000. So it's a huge change, and I think it's one of the factors that more and more companies are investing in Poland. Thank you, Alexander. Poland wouldn't be a very developed country without the EU and the EU funding. So I have a question to Magdalena Adamczuk. about the your experience in securing EU funding. How much, how important it is to actually work with EU funding in Poland? What has the EU funding given to the Polish economy? And how do you think? What are the critical strategies for leveraging using EU funds for developing of business in Poland?
Okay, so let's take one step at a time. And first of all, as you may wonder, who can apply for EU funds in Poland? Basically anyone who runs a business in Poland. And then what type of projects can apply? So the answer would be the one that ends up with innovation. So again, what is innovation? How to apply for innovation? Innovation translates into R&D. That's what I said. R&D runs the show, and R&D is a really nice thing for Polish business and Polish companies like productions, like IT. Also, they love R&D because it simply translates into remuneration, into salary, into the team. The team gets the funding, actually, the workers. Which means that everyone has team, everyone has workers, everyone has their own company members or a team that if there's only like a way to generate some new knowledge on some new means of transferring some knowledge into product, for example, or a service, the chances are it is R&D. That's why business loves R&D for that reason. Now, when it comes to selection criteria point of view, it is not that easy to convince the granting institution that we are the R&D people and we need the grants. I've already mentioned that there's a production and IT. Those are two sectors that are quite, well, they represent the vast majority of EU grants beneficiary because the innovation is like visible there. Mostly there are products. And the products means that the innovation is shown there. It is there, or the product is the way it was, but the way of production or the way we get that product is new or innovative. And then the IT. IT solutions are usually tailor-made and unique, which by definition is something new, something innovate. And if there is a team dedicated to that IT solution, the chances are this is exactly already. And when I said that the granting institution needs to be convinced, means that if we produce an application form stating that R&D is like really business related, and if there are evidence that there is profit forecast with this innovation, that what probably this will help us to obtain that funding. Now, the reason also why companies love public grants is that there are usually a big ticket connected with that grant, and right now we are facing like a vast sum of EU funds being allocated. Actually, next month we're going to have open call, and when I said that every company that is registered in Poland, runs a business in Poland, can apply, it is really so. Now, you also mentioned like the chances or how to like use the full potential of the grants. We have our clients like being like mature companies, but we're also interested in startups, like innovative startups. Sometimes they're just a team with the idea, and there are also EU funds for that kind of activity, meaning that when there is just a concept of a product, like a promise of a product, and probably an IT guy, at least one, usually it means that there is a good start for applying for funds like dedicated for startups. So the ticket is quite nice, and I think it is a good starting point for for further development.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, that's another incentive for you to invest in Poland, to set up a company with the Polish tax ID number, because then you can be eligible for EU funding, and that's much more funding than in Sweden, actually. And then, as our colleague said, you can use this for innovative and R&D projects. So that's really interesting. We'll have questions after, and I know people are eager to ask you questions already, but
please do.
But we will have a while for that later. Peter, you represent academia, so you're a professor at the University of Warsaw, and you've been working with the youngest generation of Poles. And what's your view on the role of Poland higher education system and the talent pool that we have in attracting investments to Poland, especially from Scandinavia, Nordic countries?
Yes, as we are in Stockholm, I have to mention the academia people from Poland you know. Yeah, Maria Curie-Skłodowska and Józef Rollblatt, which are Nobel Prize winners. And you could probably hear about Jan Czochralski, who invented the crystallization method for metal B, which is fundamental for today current electronics. We will not have AI with not Jan Czochralski. And also some game-changing inventors like Kazimierz Żegań, Bulletproof West, semiconductor laser developed in the Warsaw University of Technology, and windshield wipers, everybody use it, by Józef Hofman. And I don't know if you realize that we have a pioneer management team, which was Karol Adamiecki, which predated Henry Gantt. Yeah, and now we have also brilliant minds in our academias. We have crucial STEAM, let's say science, technology, and engineering and mathematics fields, very high level, which gives you access to the highest educated engineers and IT talents. When you have IT Olympics, you have like winners, you have like MIT, Harvard, and University of Warsaw. So you told that salaries in Poland grew up. Yes, but we still have cost-effective salaries, so cost-effective talents that you can hire. We know how to work hard, and we are deadline zen, so we can work under stress.
Master of deadlines, yes.
Yes, and also we have strong AI community. We are planning to make with Jerry some event later in this year. So what are benefiting to cooperate with Polish universities? Of course, it is we are in EU, so generally we speak different languages. Yeah, me personally, I'm from multinational family, so Lithuanian, Polish, and with some sort of American. I can speak 5 languages. So we are talented and we are mobile. Consider OpenAI. OpenAI with Microsoft has now over 70% of market share in AI, but you could not realize that over 60% of OpenAI crew at the beginning were Poles, some from University of Warsaw. And even I think one of our speakers used 11 Labs, and 11 Labs is also by Polish. And Amazon Alexa began with as Ivona and was acquired. Yeah, so we have generally a very comprehensive ecosystem for investors' success. So what I recommend you to cooperate with Polish universities. Yesterday we had talk with Jerry and Sverker to start a science hub by the Swedish-Polish Chamber of Commerce. So that is running project. So I would advise you, let's get spectacular success together. Don't treat Poland as only a market where you can sell products, because I'm sure that together we can take over the world, like Pinky and the Brain. So
we are more the brain or the pinky or both.
You know, it depends how to act. Yeah, you told that we
have
are
a lot of
deadline masters. So sometimes that, sometimes that. We like improvisation.
Yes, it's a bit of a hold my beer strategy sometimes.
Yes.
We can do it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's quite inspiring, and it's good to see more collaboration between the private sector and academia, which makes us all more well advanced. And you say correctly that we have so many specialists out there in the world who are Polish, but we do have to make more to promote them, I think, too, so that's not that
Yes, sure.
known sometimes in the circles of business.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, okay.
And my last sentence, thank you very much for appointing me as ambassador of Swedish Polish Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah, sure, of course. Yes, welcome to the chamber. Katarzyna, a question to you. We come back to the strategies then. Market entry strategies and investing. Could you provide us some examples? Of course, there were already mentioned some of them, but could you mention some examples that could depict the market entry steps that you have to take, taking into account being a Swedish company on the Polish market?
Yes, thank you for the question. Before I jump straight into the answer, I will say that as a preparation for this panel, we also reached out to our clients and network on LinkedIn and asked what are their challenges when they do business. So marketing minds think the same. I refer to Katarzyna's presentation as well. And yes, so so we found out that not a surprise. So that finding the right partner, it's most challenging, but equally the navigating cultural nuances, and it was equally difficult. And it was to my surprise because we also, as two other options, we put access, finding right information, and also something that I would perceive as a challenging is building the sales, and then we also interviewed our clients, and they said that it's very tricky, and sometimes they're disappointed that they have a lot of meetings and people are eager to meet and talk, but then the enthusiasm goes down and there is no deal. And then their market perception and it's different from their potential partners. What they perceive Polish customers. So it's again, and now I can jump into the question about what would be the preferred way to enter Polish market for Scandinavian companies. And of course, we always advise an individual approach where when I think about the success factors, it's probably secondary which strategy you choose, whether it's direct or through distributor or through acquiring a company. I think the success factors, they lay somewhere else. And I see it a lot with the liver projects as well. And my ideas, my thoughts behind that, what would be the success factor, it's really have a good market insight, which means, and also to my surprise, around 50, perhaps I exaggerate, yeah, but for me as a Pole, it's really surprising that we have clients who want to enter Polish market and they've never in their lives been to Poland.
It's a case, yeah, it happens. Yes.
I mean,
I can confirm.
This is very amusing to me, you know. Yeah. So, and then also we always propose having a market research. Not every client decides to have a market research, and also visiting programs. It's also not always the case. So I would suggest, and I always say it, just bring your family, come over, stay in a hotel, go out, because what people in Sweden, I think Sweden is also a little bit special in that case. We have clients from different countries, and their opinion about Poland is not always positive. I'm sorry to say this in here, but their perception is different from what the truth is, how the market is perceived anywhere else. So just go out there and explore, and you will find vibrant communities, exciting market, very dynamic. My husband and a business partner is Swedish, and we lived abroad, and we decided to stay in Poland because it's very dynamic, energetic, and it's cool to be there. So many changes, and even if you were 20 years ago, just come now because it's a totally different country. And so I would suggest, yes, make your so market research based on the desk desk research. It's one thing, yeah. All data will say yes, this is a good market, but make this step. Take meetings in Poland. Come, and this is also what Tuomas said, that the companies who actually make effort and come and they take meetings, all meetings in different cities, those are the companies that actually are successful.
So do your research and mingle.
Yes, they can market insights, understand the market and the field, the lifestyle, and so on. And you will find that it's not so different than what you have here. And then the other thing, just one more.
Yeah, sure.
So we just stay open-minded, take those meetings, and when you see that the meetings, because what we see often is that people come, Swedish businesses, they come with the agenda to sell, and a lot of meetings are like sales proposal, like pitch. And sometimes, I mean, it's good to have a business objectives and the goals and so on. But sometimes when you feel that this might not be the right market or like the product fit, Polish companies are very, Polish businesses are very entrepreneurial, and they will want to find out like what other products you have that they might be interested, and perhaps the product that you thought might be a fit, it's not a fit, but perhaps something else might be a fit, and they will actually try to drive these conversations towards that. And we, once you start looking for this mutual opportunities and synergies, the magic happens. And actually, I was present on a few of this kind of meetings where the company found a cheaper supplier to their products, which produced something 30% in the price of what they were currently paying. Or it was not the product fit, but something else was. And so sometimes just come like a founder of IKEA. He was just coming and exploring and talking to people. So that would be something that I think is a success factor.
Yeah, it's a very good actually advice to actually delve into the Polish flexibility and finding different options, even if you wanted to come to Poland with other objectives. So you can always find something interesting in Polish business. Gerard, I will come to you now. We'll come back to the workforce, the talent pool. We know that our universities, they are educating hundreds of thousands of students each year. But how is the availability of workforce from your perspective, working in the high-tech IT industry? Is it still so many people available, or is it more competitive and engineers are selecting job offers on the market? How is it?
I will probably try to extend a little bit on your comment about the quality as well, which is obviously Polish engineers are known for their dedication, hard work, and also ambition. And the best example, I think, is the fact that there's a competition called Hacker Rank, which tests programmers' skills online through different kinds of tests during interviews. And Poland has been, thanks to, for example, good education universities, always scored in the top 5, top 7 globally. So one time we were on top 3, just beaten by US and China. And the result of that is a lot of global companies invest in Poland. Google, Microsoft, IBM, Amazon, they all have R&D centers which produce a lot of engineers later on, with international experience. So there's around 600,000 IT engineers engineers in Poland, based on data from last year, both employees and contractors, self-employed contractors, and universities alone give introduction to about 60,000 students each year studying computer science or other technological aspects. So the market is quite large and very attractive. That's why international companies invest here in Poland. In terms of current market situation, obviously, there is a little bit of a slowdown, and companies reduce their investments, and the need for new projects is way slower than, let's say, for example, last year. So comparing to situation last year, the rates have dropped, which is a good opportunity, I think. From our observations, about 20 to 25% for salaries. So even though the global trend is that the Polish salaries are rising, there was a turn down for the last year, so a good opportunity. And also the amount of engineers looking for jobs is significantly higher. We see even up to 4 times. So yeah. So
when the markets are bouncing back, it's, I think, a good thing to actually try to contact Polish companies for qualified labor force in the IT sector now.
Yes, it's an interesting challenge because we have to filter through quite a lot of candidates. Not all of them are good ones because many layoffs come from unproductive employees, but sometimes the whole projects or departments are even closed because of the global market situation. So it's a very interesting opportunity, in my opinion, for hiring in Poland at the moment.
Yeah, and this is one of the key incentives for Swedish companies that invest in Poland, actually. Volvo Cars invested in the south of Poland, 600 jobs for engineers because of the talent pool available, high quality of education. That was one of the reasons, I think. Nordvolt, the same. I mean, it's not just the basically skilled workers, it's highly educated engineers in different fields, not only IT, but also industry and so on. So that's a strong thing for Poland. Yes. Barbara, yeah, sure. I mean, but just briefly, because we are beyond time,
Sure.
we still have some questions from the audience.
Quick. So basically, we've been talking about increasing salaries in Poland, but no one really spoke about why it happened. And since COVID 2019, with lockdowns and globalization of IT talent, basically companies from US, Western Europe were able to employ Polish skillful personnel. And then, salaries kind of went to the same level. Then 2023 was a slowdown. A lot of IT companies got cost cuts, employment cuts and so on. And then the situation kind of stabilized. That now we are not observing that employees are coming 3 times per year asking for higher salary. No, employees are actually more cautious, that they know that some of their friends were actually laid off from the high growth companies, and IT personnel especially, they are more cautious of demanding higher salaries, and actually some of them I know that were stepped down in salary. So Poland is still cheaper than Sweden when it comes to skill force.
Yeah, it is. Indeed. Thank you. Barbara, last question to you. It regards the communication strategies for Swedish companies. We talked about differences, the cultural differences in doing business. So what would be your advice for a Swedish company in terms of how to, develop a communication strategy that is, effective on the Polish market? Because it's not even enough to just call people and showcase a product, right?
Absolutely. Of course, I can't give you just one strategy because this is not how it works. It always depends on your branch. It always depends on your product or your target group. So it always needs to be tailored for you. But I think the strategy for every company which is going to new market, and it will be also Polish market, it's, as it was said before, to find good specialists which know the market and can just provide you activities which will take you to your goal. And I'm very happy that here we have 2 Katarzynas, which are marketers, because that's one leg of building visibility. And I'm very happy to be the second leg, this public relation leg, because these 2 activities are very needed, both to build visibility in a market. So thanks to marketing, you can have quite fast, of course, depending on a budget, visibility. But thanks to public relation, you can build your image, and thanks to public relation, you can build loyalty, the clients which will be going back to you. So you need both. If you will have only one thing, it will not work. You need to have really both. So I'm very happy that we are together in the chamber, so you can pick us as a specialists here. I'm also, as I said before, I'm living in Sweden, in Stockholm, so I'm easily reachable. What else about public relations and the Polish market? Of course, when you are getting into Polish market, you need to start being visible, and probably you will need to reach some media. And this is also why you need a local public relation agency or some public relation specialist, because we can help you to reach the media. It doesn't matter if you are working in B2B or B2C, if your clients are companies or just people. Probably anyway, you would need to be seen somehow and build your recognition. And we can try to help you with this. We know how to do it. So as a public relation agency, we are providing media relations, corporate communication, brand and product communication, digital communication, including social media and influencer marketing. And of course, many different, like crisis management and communication, CSR communication and advisory.
It's not that different from the Swedish market, I would say. I mean, this is also very much your market in terms of marketing. In Sweden, you have to do all those things also, which you have mentioned now, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nothing different. The difference is also only the audience. It can be, as we have a lot of international companies, like for example, I'm working from Red Hat or MasterCard or even Swedish AstraZeneca. And they are sometimes surprised that things are working differently, even things that they think they know, like social media. They think that, okay, Facebook and Instagram are working the same. No, they are not working the same in Polish market. People are using the same channels in different way. So that's why it's good to have a specialist who knows exactly how people in Poland are behaving, how they are reacting on communication. And these are. You also asked me about differences in the culture, and I can only add this.
Just very briefly, if you can.
Yeah, I can try. I think it's a nice thing to cooperate with Polish companies. Maybe I didn't hear it with the speakers. Nobody said it before, but I think that we are very direct, straight, and honest. So maybe we are not the most diplomats in a way as how we are communicating, but we are super honest, sometimes oversharing, but you really get the feedback how situation really is. So I think it's
often very much appreciated because of this honesty, and you can do the projects quicker actually because you know what's going on in the project.
Yeah, we are not colorizing it. We are really showing how it is, and it can give you straight information.
Thank you so much for this insight. Enough of our talking. Now is the time for you, the audience, to have some questions. We do have 2 microphones only, so I'll be walking around with this one. So we have one question here in the front, gentlemen.
Yes, I had one question. I have like 10 for each of you. So instead of asking, I would like to pick up on a thing my wife said. We never have people over at our house, so please join whenever you want at our home so I can ask you questions. I actually want to say one thing. There's lots of words. It sounds like Poland and Polish people are all about numbers, brain, and so forth, like Nobel Prize winners and so. That's true. It also sounds like we are like humble. We see us as the underdogs, which we were. I see there's a marketing issue. That's the brand of Poland. And I see the brand of Poland being 2 books for Swedes to understand Polish people. Number 1 is we have a sick sense of humor. There's a book called something like Hjälp, mitt namn är Zbigniew eller något sånt där. Some of you might have read it. It explains a Polish guy living in Sweden having a Every Pole sees himself in him. Every Swede being married to a Pole sees the Pole in the Pole. And the other word is, or the other book explains Polish proudness and history, and also over 200 years of not being a country, only being books and literature and so forth. That's the book written by Norman Davies, Heart of Europe. So we are not the brain of Europe, we are the heart of Europe. So for you in Sweden, trying to understand the Polish guys without traveling to Poland, read these books or listen to them. They explain the two very important words of history and proudness, and also humor. So that's kind of my marketing for Poland and Sweden.
Thank you very much. Not a question, but a comment. Yeah, Kasia?
I have a joke when I have a lot of friends in Sweden, and I'm very direct, as you heard, about me speaking about Poland, and they say that it's refreshing to talk to me. So yes, that's.
I think we have another question. Yes, welcome.
Well, first of all, I like to just add what you said, and no one has mentioned it, but we had, a Polish queen in Sweden, Katarzyna Jagiellonica. We also have our joint king, Sigismund. So the history, has brought us together in the earlier days. Now I would like to ask Professor Senkus a question. First, I would like to compliment your beautiful shoestrings. It's very creative and very innovative. So that shows also personality from an academician that can actually lure out a little bit in the outskirts of your personality. That's very lovely. I just would like to ask you, do you have any collaboration between University of Warsaw and any Swedish university? Otherwise, maybe we should work on that.
Yes, thank you for that question. Actually,
Very good question.
Yeah, very good question. And we are starting it under the umbrella of Swedish Polish Chamber of Commerce. But I'm sure we have agreements, yeah, because you talk that we are agreement people, yes. But unfortunately, most of the agreements don't work. But I want to do a project which works, so I represent Warsaw or Polish AI community, and I represent also some other universities. You will hear more about that. And we want to start up the projects which really work. Yeah, first area is of course AI, and we will come here with some robots. Humanoid robots, because we have plenty of use cases, even such interesting one which you can use humanoid robots and AI to support people, to prevent them, older people, to prevent from Alzheimer's diseases. I think the situation that we have now with demography, it is a good use case to do that. And the funny thing is that people who cooperate with robots are more open to the robots than to their own family.
Thank you. Maybe the next panel discussion I'll have at the chamber will be with robots. You never know. Right?
Yes, we will. That's what we are planning with Jerry for November or October. Yeah, Jerry.
So hand on tight.
November. Yes, we will come from with.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. We have one more question from the audience.
Maybe this is not the question, but just the impression. I mean, I'm the alumni of the Umeå University, and we are working very hard with the Poznań University of the physics, as well as the Jagiellonica University in Krakow. And there is a lot of students, very brave students from Poland who are learning at the university in Umeå, in north part of Sweden. So the cooperation is already there, but that's what I see as opportunity for forward development is to create the simple island of cooperation for the students who has a brave and great ideas to developing through R&D, because in Sweden they are very, very successful of creating this kind of units for the students, for the researcher as well, who are mainly focusing at the university path, but not maybe that into the business. So the help with the marketing, the help with introducing the idea and moving this to the product which will be available for the market is very strange and high up to the date here in Sweden. And I was Venture Cup jury member here in Sweden with a lot of business plans who are really great. So I think that it can be a really great possibility for cooperation.
Yes, that's why I brought here Mateusz. Mateusz, can you stand up? Yes, what we are doing I teach currently design of IT systems, and at the beginning, students didn't trust they can do it, but finally they are developing third artificial intelligence application, which is ready to the market. And that is during my normal lesson. Yeah, it was mentioned that current economy, world economy, is not a honeypot anymore. But problems one side means opportunities for the other side. Like Chinese are telling every coin has both sides. So I'm choosing definitely that opportunity side. And like you told, we should more teach to creativity, not suffering from bad situation. There is a book called Anti-Fragile. So it means that situation will not be as usual it was 20 years ago, and you waste time spending time for waiting that everything will calm down. It will not. So you have to start to play in house. So
Okay.
it's no problem.
Okay, thank you, Professor. We have time for one more question from the audience, if there is any. Yes?
Maybe quite a general question, but what other industries besides IT do you think have the biggest potential and are best suited for expansion to Poland?
For everyone. I mean, yes, please. What's your take?
There is broad industrial base in Poland, so the whole south basically it's a huge capacity of whatever production, starting from mining to steel production and so on. So it's definitely the companies within maybe not exactly mining industry, but related to this, like maybe automotive or something. So which can benefit from usage of such vast resource base and use it in their production. This is definitely something what I see that Poland can benefit from because they already have the base, the fundament for it.
Any other? Katarzyna?
We carry out quite a lot of project around sourcing, and there's a lot of companies in energy field, like green energy, e-mobility, that come to Poland and they look for components for their products that they manufacture. So this is so in general, manufacturing and shortening supply chain, moving part of the production at least from abroad, because we know it's all risky. You don't know what's coming tomorrow, so they want to shorten it, or or assemble. Yeah, so they look for a place where they can bring the components, assemble, and send out. So I think still there is a huge potential in here.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll go for industry as well. And if you look at what gets the finance, it's in many cases automation, robotization, which means that the labor force that was mentioned many times here has been really like the cost part of the journey to Poland. It means it could be replaced with this automation and that kind of solution.
Okay, anyone else? Well, I would mention the energy sector. I mean, we have huge investments coming up in the energy sector, both the production of energy, especially with the offshore wind farms and nuclear pipelines, but also grid. We will spend 200 billion zlotys for the grid development to actually be able to power all those industries in the south from those sources in the north, where we will have our power plants and wind farms. So that's also something. Okay, we are running out of time. We are past time, actually, Jerzy. So should we wrap it up now?
We probably need to wrap it up. So, Sebastian, I guess we will say thank you very much to the audience. We will say thank you very much to the speakers, the panelists. There is no more program for you who have connected with us online. Thank you very much. That's the end. See you in September, the 9th of September. We will be doing a seminar on retail and e-commerce. So welcome everybody to the future of retail and e-commerce on the 9th of September.
Thank you so much for being active.
And applause for the audience. And applause for the audience.
Exactly. So really, really, really nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.